What's going on, guys? Your boy Amazing. We're back with another video, and in today's video, guys, we're going to be going over the ultimate team building guide for the Hell Crimson Demon. Alright, so as you guys know, we just did the red one and we did the gray demon as well for the ultimate team building guides, and now we're going to be finally doing the Crimson Demon guide. So in this video, I'm going to be going over all the units that I like to use in my Crimson Demon. This can vary, like there's going to be a bunch of different options. We're going to start with the supports and then go towards the DPSs at the end. There are only like two main DPSs really at the end, and then like some semi like DPSs that are like kind of support as well, but we'll go over it in the video. Basically, in Grand Cross, they actually say what the recommended heroes are, and this recommendation is actually pretty accurate for like what you should be running here. So Grand Cross recommends you run Red Gilther, Red Derriere, Red Arthur, and then the other options that they like to choose would be Red Askinor, Red Demon Meliodas, Lost Vein Meliodas, Sariel, and Red Zeldris. So this is kind of accurate, I'm not gonna lie. These three units are staple units on the Hell Crimson Demon team. The Red Gilther, the Red Derry, and Red Arthur. But we'll be explaining some other units and also these units as well on why they are good for the team. Before we actually start the video, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Your boy Amazing is at 6.5k at the time of recording this video. So if you want to be there before 10k, make sure you're subscribed. Turn on the bell notification if you want to stay updated with anything 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross related. I always get out the information as fast as I can, so make sure to tune in. The first unit we're going to be going over is going to be Red Elaine. So Red Elaine, if I can actually pull her up here, Red Elaine is going to be the main unit in your sub slot, and the reason for that is because she's going to provide you with the Brilliant component upon clearing Demonic Beast Halleck's Deathmatch on Hell difficulty. So what she's going to provide, Elaine is going to be able to give you the Brilliant component every time you clear the Hell Demon, the Hell Crimson Demon. You're going to need, for her cosmetic pieces, you're only going to need a headpiece, which is really good. She only really needs this one headpiece and then her outfit, which comes with actually pulling her. So Red Elaine is going to be very useful in that. Another thing as well is that her kit actually provides a really substantial buff for the buffed related units that you're going to be using in the actual fight. So Elaine's passive here increases allies stat related buffs by half of their values in deathmatch. So this is going to boost all the buffing units. You got like Arthur, you got Red Escanor, Derriere. Any unit that has a blue buff on top of their little like HP bar in the fight are going to get increased by 0.5%. Or by 1.5 times the amount, right? So it's pretty nice right there. For the rest of her cards, nothing crazy. She has filling ultimate move gauge, single target, and then she decreases defense related stats of the enemy. This card can only be used on the final phase of Crimson, so if one of your units dies and Elaine comes out, she still does have like some usage at the end there. But everything else about her kit isn't really that crazy. Their passive is super nice, and the bonus that you get from having the outfit right here for the Brilliant component is going to be super nice as well. So that's going to be Elaine. That's going to be your sub-slot unit you want to run on the team. Another sub-slot unit or main unit you can run on the team is going to be Hostess Elizabeth. This is the SR Red Elizabeth. She is going to be able to provide a lot of stuff for your team here. I'm going to hop into my Liz right here. Here we are. So Red SR Liz is going to have a passive right here, which basically what it does is allies heal for 10% of the max HP at the start of the next turn when taking damage. So basically every time the Crimson Demon damages you at the end of your turn, after you've taken all the damage, you're going to heal 10% of what he did to you. And it's actually like pretty substantial over time, because every time you get hit, it's just going to start healing you up a ton. So other than that, she does have a heal card that fills ultimate move gauge, so you can kind of use her as like a bootleg green Liz from the Grey Demon. We can kind of like rush the ultimates as well. She's pretty good for that scenario. And then her ultimate here is actually going to apply Rejuvenate and heal you for 3 turns. Her ultimate here is actually going to heal the HP of all allies by 350% of attack, and then actually rejuvenate for 3 turns, which rejuvenate is like, it basically heals you over time every turn by a specific percentage of the amount you healed. Basically, it's pretty broken, and this unit can actually come in clutch in the Crimson Demon fight. If you start to stall it out and you get like really bad RNG, she can kind of be there to kind of support with the ultimates and with the healing, so she is pretty good for that. The next unit we're going to be going over is going to be Red Arthur. So Red Arthur is a staple on the Crimson Demon Hell team. you're going to want to run Red Arthur on your team because of the buff that he provides for the team right here. So his second card is going to increase the basic stats of one ally by 20% for 2 turns on the rank 1. It'll be all allies on rank 2, and then removes debuffs from all allies, increases basic stats by 30%, and grants debuff immunity for 3 turns on the rank 3. So this is really nice because the Crimson Demon actually applies Infect or Recovery Disable on the units in the actual fight, right? He applies, I think it's Recovery Disable, not Infect. But yeah, he applies Recovery Disable, and it makes it so that you can't actually heal. But having this debuff immunity makes it so that the Crimson Demon cannot apply any debuffs on your entire team, and you're able to get this off once you get the double rank ups with Gother, and it's gonna be pretty nice to actually get these buffs as well. Also to buff your Red Ascanor or your Derriere, which I'll talk about later in the video. So his first card here is nothing crazy, just disabling recovery skills. This does not work on the Crimson Demon, so it's kind of just like a wasted attack card there. Arthur's actually going to increase the human allies HP related stats by 15% as well, so it's going to make it so that Red Ascanor, if you run him on the team, he's going to start to do a lot of healing on his attack cards when he starts doing damage there with the lifesteal. He's also going to have a lot of HP, so he's super tanky. Same goes with Arthur as well. And then his ultimate here is going to be inflicting sever damage single target, and it can scale up to 945% of attack at 6 out of 6. So Arthur's right here, he's kind of just your main buff support. Instead of like the other demons where they had double buffers, the only main buffer unit in Hell Crimson at the moment is going to be the new King Arthur. He's the only one that actually gives you a boost to your damage at all as a buff card. So he's going to be your main buffer for the team. Only one person needs to run Arthur. You do not have to bring 2 Arthurs for your team. One Arthur should be fine. And you'll be able to get the debuff immunity and the basic stat buff. So the next unit we're going to be going over is going to be Red Demon Meliodas. So Red Demon Meliodas, I would say, is not really a DPS for the Crimson Demon anymore per se, but I would say he's a really good debuff support. And the reason I say that is because Red Demon Meliodas is able to apply Ignites on his first skill, which actually does stack on the Crimson Demon. And they actually last for a long time as well. The rank 1 lasts for 3 turns for 1 Ignite. The rank 2 lasts for 4 turns, applying 2 Ignites. And the rank 3 applies for 5 turns, given 3 Ignite effects to the Crimson Demon, which is super nice. Like, it increases your overall damage of your entire team because you're applying the debuff on the Crimson Demon. And then for his second skill, he's going to infect the Crimson Demon, making it so that he cannot lifesteal any HP at all every turn, because the Crimson Demon actually does do a lot of lifesteal. And if you make it so that you apply Infect on him, he cannot do any healing at all, which is super beneficial for your Crimson Demon team, man. Red Demon Melee, he used to be the main DPS early on in Grand Cross, but over time he's kind of become like a debuff support, kind of like Blue Nunchuck Bond for the Red Demon. He's kind of like the debuff support for the Hell Crimson Demon. So, you know, pretty good there. And he also has some pretty nice damage with his weak point ultimate as well, if you're able to get it off. It does a lot of damage. Both his skills apply debuffs as well, so you're able to get the weak point off pretty easily. But yeah, Red Demon Meliodas, very good unit as a debuff support for the Hell Crimson Demon. The next unit we're going to be going over is going to be Red Galleon, and Red Galleon is actually surprisingly very good in the Hell Crimson Demon, and the reason for that is because his passive. So his passive here is Strength Attribute Heroes ignore 30% of the enemy's defense when using skills. So basically how this works is that every time you use a skill with any unit that is red attribute, you're going to be ignoring 30% of the Crimson Demon's defense, and this actually is a lot in terms of how much damage you actually do when you apply the passive, because it makes it so you're able to just like 3-turn the Crimson Demon. There is a team comp where you actually run Galleon, and he's able to 3-turn the Crimson Demon if you have a pretty nice setup with your teammate there. But Galleon is a staple for the speedrun of Hell Crimson because of his passive. Other than that, his skills are pretty decent. I mean, he has the remove buff card single target, and then he has the shatter single target, so they are some pretty nice damaging cards. But Galleon doesn't do like enough for himself, right? He's kind of just like supporting with his passive here. And then for his ultimate, he's going to increase the hero's basic stats by 50% for 3 turns and inflict 420% of attack. This is kind of nice, but it doesn't really come into play that often because you're already going to give yourself the Arthur buff. Sure, you do get more stats with Galleon's ultimate, but overall, you're not like, this isn't really that necessary as you're going to get the buff anyway regardless from Arthur. So, you know, like overall, like Galleon's a really good support because of his passive, if you're trying to speed run. But other than that, he isn't really like needed per se. He's just a pretty nice support if you're trying to do like a really quick clear on Crimson Demon. So the next unit we're going to be going over is going to be Red Zelda. So Red Zelda, I would say, is kind of like a utility support. He's there so you're able to actually take the gauge from the Crimson Demon because he has a single target ultimate move gauge reduction card. So he's able to take up to 3 gauge on a rank 3 from the Crimson Demon. Another thing to note as well is that his passive is going to increase the basic stats of all allies by 6% for each ally or enemy with a commandment. So having a bunch of commandments on your team is also going to boost the amount of basic stats you have for your allies as well, which is super nice. Another thing to note as well is that Zelda has a recovery seal card just like Arthur. It's not going to do any debuffs on the Crimson Demon itself, but it is going to do like a pretty good chunk of damage every once in a while. And then his ultimate here is just, you know, your regular damage ultimate. It is Spike, but you're not going to be critting the Crimson Demon with Red Zelda. He's mainly here for that utility with his alt gauge reduction, and also for his passive boosting the commandments on your team as well. So yeah, no, and it's pretty nice too because there's a lot of commandments you actually use in Crimson, like Derry and Galleon. So it's pretty nice having Zelda here. But yeah, other than that, he's pretty good utility. Nothing too crazy though. You don't have to run Zelda. He's just there if you really need that alt gauge reduction support. But yeah, that's gonna be Red Zelda right there. The next unit we're gonna be going over is gonna be Red Gulter. Red Gulter is the free-to-play rank up unit. Everyone should have a Red Gulter at this point in the game. If you do not have a Red Gulter, please get yourself a Red Gulter. I think they've given him out in a login anyway, so he's definitely free at this point. But Red Gulter is still a staple in Crimson Demon today. The reason for that is because of his rank up skill, as you know, he is the only red unit in the game that has a rank up skill. So having a rank up already makes it super viable for demons because he's able to just make everyone's hand rank 3 when you double rank up. So Gulter's going to be super nice with that. His attack steal card doesn't do anything on the Crimson Demon. It's just going to be that little extra chip damage, I guess. His passive also increases all allies attack by 10% at the start of the next turn if the hero doesn't take damage. This can be kind of nice and somewhat work in Crimson Demon if he decides to target people other than Gulter. But most of the time he's actually just going to like hit everyone with an AoE anyway. So his passive doesn't really come into play. But if you are like 3 turning or like 1 turning each phase of the Crimson Demon, you are actually stacking up Gulter's passive as well. So that is something to note. The final thing about Gulter though is that he actually depletes ultimate move gauge on his ultimate. So that's pretty nice as well, because if you actually rush his ultimate, you could take the Crimson Demon ult and make it so he doesn't ult you, and you should be like you should be able to just like go through the rest of the fight without much worry about him ulting you. But yeah, no, like Red Gulter is really good support. You definitely need him if you want to do Crimson Demon. He is there for the rank ups like mainly, but he is also there for the passive as well. So that's going to be Red Gulter. The next unit we're going to be going over is going to be the DPS units. We have 2 DPS units you can use for the Hell Crimson Demon. These units are going to be Red Escanor and Red Derriere. First we'll go over Red Escanor because he isn't going to be the best DPS, but I kept him in because he is kind of a free-to-play unit at this point, I would say. You can buy him from the coin shop. He's been on a lot of banners recently, so I know a lot of people probably have Red Escanor by now. But he's really good for this fight just because he has an Amplify skill here. So his first attack card right here is going to be an Amplify single target. An Amplify increases the damage dealt by 30% per active buff on self. So basically how this works is when you apply the Arthur buff for the whole team, Escanor is going to get all the Arthur buffs. He's going to get 4 buffs from Arthur, being the debuff immunity, the attack, HP, and defense. And then he's also going to have from his passive an HP related stats buff that he's just going to have the moment he goes into battle for 3 turns. So he's going to have 5 buffs instantly applied on Red Escanor. So he's going to be doing about 150% increased damage on his Amplified card right there, which is a lot of damage. And if you have a really good set on Escanor, he could actually wipe the first 2 phases of the Hell Crimson Demon pretty easily. He isn't going to output as much damage as Derriere per se, but he is pretty good in terms of damage as a secondary DPS. He also has a gauge reduction AoE card. Like it doesn't do a lot of damage, but it can be some pretty nice utility if the Crimson Demon rushes ultimate. You can actually take it away from him, and you know, it's nice support as well. And then Escanor's ultimate is just a straight up nuke. you just like drop the ultimate up to 1440% at 6 out of 6 with Merlin Link. So he's going to be doing a lot of damage on the Crimson Demon. Not as crazy as Derriere, as I said, but you know, he's still a pretty nice secondary DPS to run. The final unit we're going to be going over for the Hell Crimson Demon is going to be Red Derriere. Red Derriere is going to be your main DPS for the fight, and the reason for Red Derriere being the main DPS is that her passive and her buff card here. So for her passive, she's going to increase attack by 10% when the hero uses skills. The effect is removed when a skill is not used, limit 10 times. So basically what this attack buff is applied as is actually applied as a singular buff. So every time she does a skill, she's going to start stacking up that buff, and it is a blue buff that goes above the HP of the character in game. So her buffs right here, coinciding with her basic stat buff card right here that SR Aaron also has as well. She's going to be starting to increase that, and then because of all the buffs you're getting from her passive and her basic stat buff, you're going to actually have a really insane Amplify ultimate nuke, because Derriere's ultimate is Amplify, and as I explained with Red Escanor's card, Derriere is going to have this as an ultimate, so it's going to just do an insane amount of damage on the Crimson Demon, and it's easily like Dokkan numbers type of thing, like with Derriere here, when you start stacking up a lot of buffs with her. So, you know, she's super insane. She has a single target 600% attack card, just raw attack. Pretty good for doing chip damage on the Crimson Demon and also stacking the Derry passive. And then having this buff card right here, gaining evasion, kind of helps as well because she's kind of frail as a unit. She does take a lot of damage, so if you're able to apply that buff and get evasion, the Crimson Demon will actually not be able to hit you at all. So you don't really have much issue with that. But yeah, Derriere is going to be the staple DPS for Hell Crimson Demon. If you don't have Derriere, your second best option is going to be Red Escanor. But if you have Derriere, even at 1 out of 6, she's still going to be a better DPS than Red Escanor at 6 out of 6. So just to let you guys know. Alright, so now that we've went over all the characters you can be using for the Hell Crimson Demon, what team do I use for Hell Crimson Demon? The team I'm going to be using is going to be this team right here. So the team that I like to run is going to be Red Gilther, Red Derriere, Red Arthur, and Red Elaine in the back. And the reason for running this team right here is so we have the Red Gilther for rank up support, we have Derriere being our main DPS unit, stacking buffs and then nuking, and then we have Arthur here to buff the entire team, give them the debuff immunity, the attack, HP, and defense buff for the rest of the team as well. And then we have Elaine in the back to actually boost the buffs on Derry that she's using, and also provide the brilliant component cosmetic upgrade that we'll be getting every time we clear the Hell Crimson Demon. So for your teammate, you don't have to bring Arthur as a teammate. All you would have to do is bring like a Red Gilther, Red Derry, and then like Red Zell or Red Demon Meliodas, or even like Red Escanor as well if you want to run double DPS. You've got a lot of options with Hell Crimson as a secondary partner when you're not running Arthur, as this slot is kind of just like variable, like depending on the unit you run. But yeah, as long as one person's bringing Arthur, you should be fine. And both of you must have Red Gilther if you want to have like a smooth clear. Most of the time though, if you don't get like rank ups, you might lose, so you know there's that. Like Crimson Demon can kind of cut you if you get like really bad luck, but overall you should be fine with this team right here. You should have like no issues as long as all your units are geared. But other than that, that's gonna be it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe as always, and if you guys want to see more videos like this, definitely let me know in the comment section below, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of your day.